Happy Thursday, beautiful souls, wherever you are on this phenomenal planet. It is time for Shift Your Thinking Daily, where we transform our inner experience to a phenomenal outer experience. For now, 10 minutes of our day, we do it together. Before we jump into today's message, let's go ahead and take a couple of deep breaths. Join me. Breathe in and out. One more. Breathe in and out. Woo! All right. Say hi, say hello, drop a comment down below. If you're new to me, welcome. My name's Puerto. I'm an active licensed California real estate professional, also creator and founder of many cool things, books, projects, and so much more that you can check out on my site at lasuperagent.com. That's lasuperagent.com. Or just follow, subscribe to any of your favorite social media platforms where I'm available as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and radio podcasts everywhere. I had to think about that. I said Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. That's where I'm actively, and on radio podcasts everywhere. Where if you're listening and tuning in, thank you to our radio podcast listeners who are listening on either Spotify, Breaker, Stitcher, Anchor, Castbox, iTunes, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, and on and on and on. Thank you for growing the channel with us, for your subscribes, like, and share. And for those of you who are subscribing as a loyal supporter, really appreciate you and so much gratitude and love you wholeheartedly for doing that. I can't wait to start to share more with you on that side. I actually will be doing the FHA. There was a blurb that came out on the proposed FHA discount. I want to go in on more of what that really means and what that's about, and kind of things we should be paying attention to in terms of the real estate market and how that impacts your purchasing power. Okay, with that being said, we are continuing our series from Dean Del Sesto, Shift Your Thinking, 200 Ways to Improve Our Lives. And guess what? We are on episode 198. Get at you, girl. Episode 198, going strong. That means we now have 2 more episodes to finishing Shift Your Thinking, 200 Ways to Improve Our Lives. I really want to know if you really have received some value from this. I have. I mean, I've transformed my life. My life is transformed from applying some of the tools that, the thought process, and I have utilized it in my presentations, in my negotiations, in my everyday, my personal, my business. Why? Because I keep saying, and I want you to be reminded that we are in relationship with people, places, things, money, spirituality, on and on and on. We are in the relationship business. That's what we do. We are in relationships. So if you have been avoiding relationships, I got news for you. You are in relationship with everything. All right. I'm in the section where he says, I like this one. This is episode 198. I'm going to call mental diet. Your mental diet. Yesterday we said your diet, your choice, right? What you put in your body. And that was from a physical perspective. Today we're going to discuss from a mental perspective, mental diet, because too, you also have the ability to be selective about what you put in your mind, what you're receiving. It's so funny because I went to see John Wick the other day on my day off. I had a movie time with myself. Yes, I do date myself. Find some me time. I shared that in today's presentation. Let me just say this. I'm feeling on cloud 20. Shout out to those of you that came out to the live Ready Set Real Estate workshop that is happening in the greater LA area. Thank you for our host, Southwest Escrow. They are hosting us in their community room and have a calendar of events, including our Ready Set Real Estate calendar of events that are mapped out and scheduled for the rest of the year. We'll be adding 2020 schedule shortly. But I want to say this. Today's presentation was powerful. I did it on solopreneur agents, what no one told you before you jumped into real estate. And because I'm not recruiting people, I'm strictly uncovering and discussing the glorified BS in the real estate business. It was so powerful that people just really resonated with what I had to say. They're going to get access to the downloadable worksheets on how to calculate their bottom line, because most agents and or brokers are not factoring the effective rate. You know, what is your effective commission after splits, fees, costs, credits, all those things embedded. You know, yes, we make thousands of dollars, but when you look at the bottom line, factoring our expenses, factoring what we pay for taxes, factoring paying ourselves, factoring what we need to allocate for, you know, our own medical, dental, health insurance, retirement planning, how much are we really making? So anyway, just wanted to share that because I'm super excited that happened today. Looking forward to next month's training and workshop that is on how to podcast your voice, your real estate insights, and how to monetize it. Woo! I'm fired up. So this is going to be a good one. I'm in the section where he says, that which you give your mind to will consume you. Good or bad, moves everyone directly into anxiety. Media, the acronym media, he says, moves everyone directly into anxiety. That's interesting. He says, after a close friend went on a 20-minute tirade about all the bad news in the world, he says, I gently voiced the above headline. That which you give your mind to will consume you, good or bad. He says, I didn't have to share much beyond that because he was absorbed in the rhetoric of much of the media's perspectives that he was ready to be hit in the head with some candid, unbiased feedback. He says, I also shared an organization that inducts new members with a mandate to refrain from all TV, radio, and other media for 30 days, simply so they can hear things other than what the world is saying. He says they believe that reduction of media noise pays dividends of peace, perspective, and progress that can't be attained any other way. Yes, timing out. It's funny because when I watched, I had that, I wanted to keep touching my phone as I was in the theater, and then it actually eventually died, and I was like, okay, is that what needs to happen? It shouldn't have to happen that way. And it was halfway through the day. I'm doing so much on my phone, right? With these mini computers we're walking around with, and I'm learning to be better. I'm not perfect. I'm perfectly imperfect. I'm cool with that because I know I'm working on myself. That's what this section of the channel is about. The personal development works well with our real estate professional and training and information and development. Why? Because real estate is so much of a mindset. Real estate is so much of a mindset. It is only the physical manifestation of which you have disciplined your mind to be ready to receive. Think about that. Just go back and listen to all the stories that you've heard of people who've acquired real estate. Mindset. All the way back from the early days where people saved whatever was possible and they borrowed money and then they went directly to the bank and in a matter of 7 days they had the house. That's how it was back in the day. Shout out to a dear friend and a client that I'm assisting sell her land in Texas, and she shares with me the story of when she moved to California when she bought her property, and that's what she said. So I think about the mindset as a young single mom of 6 kids and finding her way through life, and she since then has owned the property in which she resides in for now 40 plus years. She's someone special. Love her. He says, I concur. Most, not all, mainstream media has discovered that producing conflict, anxiety, confusion, and fear raises ratings, and getting pulled into it is as easy as grabbing the remote. He says, flip through most of the channels and you'll find a war of perspectives and sensationalism rooted partially in the facts, filtered mostly through personal biases and steeled in personal agendas. Isn't this true that, this is why this is so powerful and profound to me, when I have an opportunity to use my platform to educate and shift perspective, shift minds, and do something that's never been done with real estate literacy. Teaching youth and discussing to you all who are listening to me and learning real estate. And I'm not doing it from a quote unquote guru perspective. I'm an active agent. So, and the people that I have featured are active producers or active professionals or people who are learning their way. This is not about guru stuff. I don't do that. I'm not impressed by it. And when people hear it, when people actually call me that, I cringe. It's humbling, but I kind of cringe because for me, it already has this negative connotation, because it lumps me in this pool of what everybody else is trying to be. That's not me. I'm Lisa Puerto. I am super agent. I teach children real estate literacy, ages 11 and up. I'm an active producer. I'm a lover and mother of the changing seasons. Public speaker, public educator, professional agent trainer. This is really what I do. It's what I do. And I'm not perpetrating, right? I'm not, and so my biases, if you will, I do absolutely have an agenda to shift your thinking, empower and educate you on real estate literacy. That is my agenda. He says, it's enough to stress a corpse. It's a drip system of mental poison. Drop that in the comments below. Mental poison, when we think about this thing we call media. He says that can slowly kill the potential of who we can be. He says, and it's extremely effective if we allow it to own a part of our lives, which is why the timeout is so important. Actually, Lathan is sitting right here on my side, on my right here, as I get ready to finish Shift Your Thinking. He knows I'm going to come on and do this show, and we're going to go ahead and time out and enjoy a movie and some QT. Just had baseball time. And so it's finding the time. I discussed this today on the presentation. Finding the time and not guilt tripping yourself of, it has to be done a certain way. If me finding time with him happens after 8 o'clock or 9, 10, 11, 12, and that works best for my life, then there's no one that can judge me for that. Because that's what works best for me and my children. When I have time, that's what works best. He knows, and my children know, my family knows what my day-to-day is. I'm unapologetic about it. It took me some time. This is the personal development, and this is what I'm sharing with you. It took me some time to heal and grow and relieve myself of that pressure of having to do it a certain way. I don't have time at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock when he comes out of school. I don't have that time. I'm still in my workday. But I do have time when I've simmered down, I've done everything else, and that's what works. We put everything away. Put the media away. All right, let's get ready to wrap this up. He says, I'm not saying we should bury our head in the sand. He says there are responsible media outlets, mine included. Mine's a responsible media outlet that are devoid of sensationalism and agenda, where we can acquire the news we desire, and we should flag those as our sources. Yes. He says, whether from the media or people, it is critical to note that intake equals output affecting emotions, motivation, relationships, and our attitude and outlook on life. With that being said, I invite you to be very conscientious. We talked about the physical diet, what you're putting in your body. Let's think about what we are choosing to intake. The news, right? And let me say this, even though I have collectively close to about 8,000 plus followers. I'm not including some other platforms that I use for business. But the main social media, about 8,000 plus followers, and just people that I'm connected with, right? So with that being said, I'm very selective. I'm not I'm not a follow for follow type of person, because if you are into something that I'm not, I mean, you may be interested in what I have to share, but I still have the choice to choose to whether I want to follow the information that you're sharing. Why? Because that's part of my mental diet. So this follow for follow can be a very dangerous thing. Why? Because not everybody is using the social media outlets or channels for empowerment, positive news, personal transformation, development, abundance, how to start a business, making money, spirituality. Not everybody's using it that way. And so I'm being very selective in what I allow in my world. So I want you to think today, in what ways can you be more protective of what you're allowing in, that will thereby affect your motivation, your attitude, your love, your relationships in the long term. All right, that's my time. Love you, love you, love you. Have a powerful and productive day. I'll see you tomorrow as we continue to conclude our series of Shift Your Thinking. Bye.